Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown on Troll Country featuring Elder Basilisk leading his High Elf legions up against Melatonin and the Warriors of Chaos, led by a very angry Dragon Ogre Shagoth indeed. So let's hop in here quick and have a quick little look at the builds. So for the force of the High Elves, looks like they're deployed very back of the map here so far. And in their main battle line, they are going to have cheap and cheerful spearmen dotted all the way along, just to try and hold the line while the rest of the army does do some damage. I think it's quite clumped together here, but I'm assuming he's going to be moving forward to take this hill here. In the secondary battle line, we do have white lines of Trace here. Do some decent AP up against Warriors of Chaos. I can certainly see them having some good value. We also have a Mage of Life dotted in there of Regrowth and Earthblood. With a little bit of a missile core with Sisters of Avalon accompanying some basic archers. And then double Silver Helms as well. Going to be used to protect the back line. Looks like they're kind of expecting a vanguard to start with and kind of facing the wrong way, just in case anyone does pop up behind them. Over on this left-hand side, we have some Illyrian Reaver archers, and then we have the hero core up front. We have a Handmaiden of the Everqueen, good little hybrid specialist, can be able to do some good sniping damage, very good at taking out casters in my opinion. And we also have a Princess as well, a unit you don't get to see terribly often actually. Coming in on her Mighty Dragon with Volley of High Arrows, as well as Moon Dragon's Breath. So a Moon Dragon Princess, not something you see terribly often. We also have the Line Chariots of Trace here. One of my favourite units in the High Elf roster. I've actually become a big fan of them recently. I think they're a little bit split on the community. Some people like them, some people hate them. But I think they can certainly do some good damage, especially up against high infantry armies, which the Chaos are known to bring in this matchup. Now for the force of Chaos in the front lines, we do have Chaos Marauders, of course, the backbone of any good solid build. And then we have Triple Chosen with great weapons. This is something I showcased not too long ago actually. These guys do massive AP, pretty much tear through everything in the High Elf roster very effectively. However, the White Line Chariots may be able to do some good damage to them. It might be a bit of a nice counter. We do have double Dragon Ogres here as well, one of which is the Summoners of Rage, the Regiment of Renowned version, who not only look way more badass, they can look like demented descendants of Thor here, also do come in with a free Chain Lightning, which is always pretty nice, and can even do some pretty decent damage on the High Elves because they are tightly compact, so dropping on archers and the like can sometimes force them off. For the leadership, of course, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Kolek Suneater, one of the mightiest warriors in the old and the new world, coming in with Star Crusher as well, and what a ferocious sight to see across the battlefield from you. We also have a Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows, coming in with Enfeebling the Foe, Pendulum, and Scroll of Shielding. Really big fan of that toolkit there. I think those are some good spells in this matchup. And over in the distance, we do have some Chaos Warhounds with Poison. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Looks like the first of the magic missiles is coming into the Chosen with great weapons. Doing some pretty decent damage. I think it would have been worth kind of floating out to the flank here so you can kind of arc that down the line to try and catch some more models. But still, you know, getting 4 kills off the bat is certainly nothing to scoff at, as the Illyrian Reaver archers as well do pop up to pressure the Summoners of Rage here, trying to do some damage to them. I think a good target would be the Chosen. These ones do have 120 armor though, but they do not indeed have shields. So it looks like the Silver Helms have started to move down. Yeah, the High Elves simply going to be trying to take this high ground position here. Line Chariots are falling back as well, and some Chaos Marauders have overextended slightly here. The Illyrian Reavers could even charge into combat for a little bit of shock damage, but it looks like the Chariots are on a thunderous approach here. Down the hill they come, and these Chaos Marauders holding their shields high. Do not see them approaching, and that's going to be some massive shock damage coming through. Instantly up to a few kills, but it's that HP damage which is the real kind of nutcracker there. Silver Helms coming in as well. They do need to fall back. Summoners of Rage are here. However, it is going to bog them down and allow the Sisters of Avalon and archers to do some pretty decent damage. A Brig Breath attack comes down the line, doing some disgusting damage to those Chosen. Massive damage there. Up to 17 kills, but that was some huge HP work. And it looks like the Line Chariots and Silver Helms are going to escape. Not completely unscathed. They do take some damage, but the Summoners of Rage have certainly been hammered home here. And in the Silver Helms come once again, really punishing this Chaos front line. And things have certainly started very well for the High Elves, managing to take this high ground and get some good early engagements. Over here though, Silver Helms have been caught by Dragon Ogres, and yes, there is the support of some Spearmen, but these Silver Helms need to pull back through their numbers or risk taking some pretty hefty damage. And the Chosen with great weapons have now engaged in the front lines. Looks like a few of them have unfortunately been destroyed here simply due to the cycle charging. Very effectively done. by the High Elves here. Although Kolek Suneater is now amongst the enemy, and these chariots need to be a bit careful. He can certainly deal some huge damage, and a glorious pendulum in the back lines, really kind of trying to drag this one back to chaos. But a nice Earthblood is going to be cast as well, and the sisters didn't actually lose too many models there, just a load of HP damage, so big fan of that Earthblood to keep those guys at maximum firing capacity. Summons of Rage are going to bounce away from the Spim now, just to allow the beat-up Chosen to deal with them, and the Chosen will do this quite effectively. Kolek has had enough of these pesky bowmen, and it's going to be swaggering into the back line here, aiming for the sisters, and that's a good target for him, as he does crush one. Oh no, that poor sister gets absolutely obliterated in half there by Kolek. Looks like Alien Reavers, as well as the Handmaiden, are being forced into combat, just to try and allow those sisters to escape. They're going to be pretty big in taking them down in the late game. Looks like we're having another breath attack coming in here, and it does pretty decent damage again, but only on Chaos Marauders this time, and did a bit of damage as well to Dragon Ogres. Summons of Rage do pop a Chain Lightning in the background there, doing some pretty decent damage to the sisters all round. However, they are doing nice, consistent fire to Kolek, but a Scroll of Shielding has been wisely popped on him to keep him as healthy as possible. And with Star Crusher on, he is obliterating this poor Handmaiden. And yeah, in a couple of swings, Jesus, she's been absolutely annihilated there. And down she does go. So one of the heroes has been dispatched, and the High Elves are starting to lose ground here in the front lines. Even the Lion Chariots have stayed a little too long in combat up against the Dragon Ogres. Still 2 models though, so if they do get a regrowth or Earthblood on them, they can certainly contribute quite heavily still. And in comes the Princess as well to butcher some of those Dragon Ogres. In the distance, we see Spearmen have broken and White Lines of Trace being forced off, but they're not the big hitters here. However, the Sisters of Avalon, who certainly have done a massive amount of damage so far, are now being swarmed by the Summons of Rage, and Chosen are pushing up the hill as well to try and deal some damage. Summons of Rage look like they were forcing off archers initially, but have come back. The Silver Helms do dart into the rear of those Chosen though, getting some fantastic shock damage. The cav play all round by the High Elves so far has been really good, but Summons of Rage in the mix, those Silver Helms certainly want to kind of dart and weave out of that engagement once more. Princess does get an Enfeebling Foe popped on her, but very wisely falls back up into the skies. Really weird kind of floating up there animation. And perhaps going to get a breath attack on Kolek as well, who does turn his back on the Princess, but looks like she's considering it. But definitely doesn't want to engage with Enfeebling Foe popped at all. And in comes the breath attack, but it looks like Kolek, for the most part, manages to dodge at least the kind of second wave of breaths there. This Chaos Sorcerer, though, is looking rather tasty right now. If I was the Princess, I'd come down and gobble him up with that mighty dragon. Lion Chariot of Chase did seem to get a regrowth or an Earthblood there, has now healed quite a lot. It's going to be bouncing around on these Chaos Marauders, doing some pretty decent damage. Still has 2 models as well. Don't know where the second one is. Looks like they've kind of disappeared from each other, but doing pretty decent damage all round. Kolek has caught the last one over here who's desperately trying to escape, but Kolek breathes on those lions and they do indeed die, and he thumps their corpses into the ground. However, the Summoners of Rage pretty much spent here, desperately trying to force off these archers, but with the defense of the Spearmen, it looks like the Summoners of Rage are going to be forced off here, and Chaos looking very thin on the ground now. This Kolek really probably needs to try and snipe the Princess here and get some decent tear-outs going. He can certainly deal with a lot of what's left on the field, but it's going to be pretty tough for him. He's kind of got quite a tall order. It looks like the Chaos actually are going to throw in the towel there, which I think may be slightly early, as if Kolek could deal with the Princess, there's certainly a way back into this game. There's still a lot of troops though rallying for the High Elves, so it's most likely in their favour. Some sisters are rallying as well, but I think a slightly early concede. But still, very well played to both of these combatants. An awesome game, massive shout out to Elder, Basilisk and Melatonin there for some 2 really awesome builds, and despite all the magical damage, breath attacks and everything that got thrown at these Chosen, you can see they still do so good in this matchup. 102, 77 and 68 kills is very impressive, although they were, I suppose, mainly on, the lower tier troops, Spearmen, White Lions and the like. That White Lion Chariot did some massive burst damage and good kind of mobility play from the High Elves all round. The Lion Chariots, the Silver Helms and the Princess really allowed the Sisters of Avalon to stay active for considerably longer than they probably normally would have, and allowed them to do some big damage to those Dragon Ogres as well as Kolek in general. I think overall, Chaos just needed to push a little bit more aggressively into that back line, a little bit earlier than they did to shut down those troops. But overall, still good play. I didn't know where the Chaos Warhounds went. Perhaps they were sniped out, I suppose, in the end by the Princess, because they could have been really good looping up and around the back line there and feasting on this Archer core. It's always good to see the Princess in action as well. Don't get to see her terribly often. On the Moondragon as well, and the Moondragon breath attack is actually better, I think, at wiping out units. but not so good at taking down single targets. I believe that is the case. It's one way or the other, but I think that's the one. So doing that damage on the Chosen was certainly very effective. Anyway guys, hope you did enjoy this battle. If you did, feel free to give the video a big old thumbs up and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. Should have some really fun streams coming up as well this week. I think we're going to be having another clan war and perhaps a birthday stream over the weekend as well, as it's my birthday on the Monday, but I'm going to be moving house then, so might not have time to stream then, unfortunately. Yes guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.